Okay, hi, my name is Katie Morris. This is an introduction to my leading video, which I chose for my leading video to lead a faculty meeting. So I talked with my principal and he had no problem with that. And it was supposed to be a time where he could observe me and give me some pointers, which he did beforehand, but he was actually called away, and so I ended up leading the faculty meeting all by myself, which they're ladies that I work with all the time, and so it wasn't that big of a deal, but it was different. So there were a lot of things for us to discuss, and so I'm just gonna go over those things, which are all in my written reflection. But this meeting was held on April 6th of this year, and we always start off with celebrations, so anything that anybody wants to celebrate. Of course, it's the end of the year, and so there's a lot of things to celebrate, but sometimes we get a little stressed and we don't think about it, and so we always started on a positive note. Our technology was down, so instead of showing a motivational video, I put some cartoons on the agenda just to lighten the mood for those who might be struggling or having a hard time. So we started with celebrations. We also started with another positive. We are getting an addition to our playground, and so I let them know about that, and that it's also going to be a community project because they're pouring a foundation, but also they're laying a kind of like a spongy material, I guess, and the community is going to be asked to do that as well as the kids, and so that'll be fun for all involved. We have a calendar, possible calendar. Well, we do have a calendar change. Of course, the state of Texas went from days to minutes, and so that means that we have about 9 less days of instruction for our kiddos. And of course, the teacher schedule stayed the same since we're still on a 10-month contract. So I explained that to them, gave them a copy of a possible calendar, and asked them to submit any questions or comments or concerns to Mr. Corvin, our principal, as he was not there. He did instruct me beforehand not to open it up to discussion just because he says it can use up a lot of time, and then if they have questions they can address it to him, and if something gets changed and they don't like it, then he can always say, well, I did give you an opportunity to talk to me about that and you didn't. So kind of like the right to vote. So on the heels of that, I also proposed to them, we take AR trips, accelerated reader. We take reading. If they met their goal, then we take a field trip once a 6 weeks, and so that takes up a lot of our instructional time. And so I proposed to them that next year, since we are losing 7 to 9 days, that we actually make those trips every other 6 weeks and come up with some other sort of reward for the 6 weeks that we do not go on a field trip. And so that also was, I asked them to email Mr. Corzine with their questions or comments or concerns so that we could get a feeling for whether that was a change that could be implemented without too much dissension, I guess. I believe that I had already kind of polled some of the teachers, and there seemed to be a consensus that we would rather have those days to teach than have those days of giving up to field trip. And we can always celebrate with an hour or so rather than a full day's field trip. We're probably actually the only school that takes so many field trips. The next thing on the agenda was an update on our Student Lighthouse. I am a sponsor for the Student Lighthouse, which kind of acts like a student council, but a little bit different. So the Student Lighthouse team had an idea to implement what we call a buddy bench. And so they had gone around to the teachers and already talked to them about it, but in the faculty meeting, I wanted to convey to the teachers exactly what it was, just in case they didn't get the full information, and I had already given it to them in an email as well. But the Student Lighthouse team had decided that they would get the ag department to make a bench for them and put it on the playground with a little placard that just said something like, need a friend, have a seat, and soon a friend you shall meet. So something sort of along those lines, just to address that in the younger grades, because sometimes they don't always have the skills to introduce themselves to a new group or somebody's mad that day and they need somebody else to play with. And so the idea being that if a student needs a friend, that they can sit on that bench and that others could be made aware. They see them sitting on the bench, they go and they offer their friendship for that day. So just to make our school a little bit more friendly. We talked about comp days, that we need 3 of them, that those are to be on our own time and at our own expense if there is an expense. We talked about purchase orders need to be turned in by April 15th because our budget closes soon after that. I gave them an update on our technology action team, which I am also leading. We had done a survey of our elementary campus, finding out what our teachers are concerned with, what the problems might be, and what we felt like would fix that, and had asked to present that information to our school board. And so at the time of the faculty meeting, we believed that we would be presenting at the end of the month. That is not the case now, but at the time we did believe that, which we had come up with. We said that we really wanted a technology person to be on campus full time. We used to have that, but right now we have someone that is outsourced and he is only available to us once a week, and he does a great job for what he is able to do once a week, but sometimes the issues are just more 5 days a week and all day long, and he does great with what he has. It's just, we just don't feel like it's enough, especially with the new T-test expectations for next year. We feel like we need somebody right in the moment that can help us. And so that's what we hope to present. We also did a little housekeeping. We talked about when a janitor is in the bathroom to let, just educate children once again, not to go into the bathrooms when they're being cleaned. We do have an alternative plan with another bathroom, and which has always been a procedure or policy, but apparently it hasn't been followed, and so we just touched base with that. After that, we talked about important dates. April 15th is tax day for the rest of the world, but April 15th is when we do student-led conferences, and so we just asked if anybody had any, I asked if anybody had any questions, anybody knew. I also sent out a form that they could use, and Mr. Corzine requested that we eat for each grade level, for each teacher rather, that we turn in a student invitation. The students had written out invitations to their parents. This was the first time that we were to do student-led conferences. We started using student leadership notebooks this year, and so student-led conferences are a time when the student, the parent, and the teacher all get together, but they go through a binder and talk about the things that are in there. We track data every day. We say our mission statement every day, their goals, their victories, and things of that nature, which is very positive, but it's not anything that we've done in the past, so that was new. Gave them the date of the next board meeting, which is April 28th, and that told them that that would not be the time that they would approve teacher contracts, that it would be, in fact, April 28th would be the day that teacher contracts would be approved, and contracts would be out soon thereafter. After that, I gave them a survey of about 7 questions and just listed 1 through 5, how did I do, and just basic stuff so that it wasn't an opinion about whether they liked me or whether they didn't like me, but characteristics of how the meeting went. So question number 1 was promptness in starting the faculty meeting, which everybody agreed that was perfect. Number 5, just because I did start it on time. We're kind of weird about meetings starting on time and ending on time, just as a value. I mean, everybody should be, but just as a value to each person's time. So number 2, effective communication skills. Most everybody rated me as a 5. Encouragement of collaboration. Most everybody rated me as a 5. One person put lower, a 3, and I can't pinpoint anything that I did to get that rating, but anyway, it's in there, so it gives me something to think about. Number 4, leader's ability to listen to others. Also had same person, rate me as a 3. So I don't know if there was someone that maybe I didn't listen to fully. I can't think of anything specific that happened. So everybody else had rated as a 5. And I don't want to discount that one person either, but I just have no way, because I asked them not to put their name on it. I have no way to go back and ask, what I specifically did. Number 5 was relevance of topics discussed. Everybody put a 5. Meeting ended on time. Everyone put a 5. Meeting was a good use of their time. Everyone but one person put a 5, and the person who didn't put a 4. So honestly, most everything that we discussed probably could have been put in an email, but there is some value to meeting face-to-face, just in case someone has some questions. And we try to have last year, in years past, faculty meetings were just very sporadic. You never knew when they were going to happen. They were kind of last minute, which kind of put us in a reactive mode. We teach the Dr. Covey's 7 Habits for Highly Effective People, and we talk about being proactive. And so one of the things that our site-based committee, we call that our lighthouse team, suggested is that we go ahead and we make a standard time for faculty meetings. And so our faculty meetings are the Wednesday after the board meeting, and the board meetings are once a month, but they are at the very last Thursday. And so that way it helps everybody to be able to plan and not think last minute about it. So we kind of lost my train of thought there. I do not know. So I'm glad that didn't happen in the faculty meeting, but I did the survey, and everyone was very gracious to me, and it was a good experience, and I know that there's going to be a lot more to come. I think the experience